What up? What up? It's Wednesday. Hey, you know what that means. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com, Podcast, Heat, Wrestling, and Studio One Sports. But I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplus, WD Creative _ish. We're talking a little AEW Maximum Carnage. Robert, are you ready?
I'm so excited to talk one of the best Spider-Man stories of the last 30 years, Maximum Carnage.
Yes, me too.
That's just for Mike Lawrence. We'll say hi to some of the folks joining us here. E throwing us a was up and asks, when's the next Fonzie ep?
Probably next week, Triple E. Stay tuned.
Fonzie's a very busy man. He may call it right down the middle, but he can't call it every day. Guy's got a lot of stuff going on. Wanna Breeze says, hello, R&I. It's Wednesday, and it's time for Dom to play that song. Clearly, he's talking about American Pie by Don McLean.
Absolutely.
An all-timer. We're going to hear the entire song. One of my, I don't even know why I thought of it. One of my favorite, this is why wrestling is the dumbest thing ever. One of my favorite random memories was, as a kid, being in New York on a family trip. We're in the cab. The Todd Pettengill radio show was on. He's a big radio presence in New York, and they played a version of American Pie where they break down every analogy in there and what it's all about. It was like a 22-minute. There was a long car ride into the city from the airport, but I remember A, as a Don McLean mark, was a big fan of this. B, as a Todd Pettengill wrestling mark, I was like, this is, my worlds are coming together. Devin Dowling coming together saying, "Ayo."
Ayo,
Wrestling Old Head says, good after morning all. With this weather over here, I wish I was in Florida. It's 76 and muggy today. It's a little gross. But
it's gross there.
Friday, it's going to be a low of 37.
What?
In a row. Yeah.
What?
I don't know what the hell to think about that. Richard Obstorm 9. I don't know. Sup, fellas?
Whatever it may be. Sup, fellas? Hey.
Andre Owen says, hello, R&I. Will we get a shocking title change tonight for Bandito? It depends. Is he challenging Ricochet for the national title?
That is not happening. He's going up against MJF, but we gotta talk about it, Robert.
Do we? Do we really?
We do.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm
Yeah.
so excited, and I just can't hide it.
You know, when you hear that song, you begin to understand why Jesse Spano tried to overdose on caffeine pills.
It's a little much, isn't it? It's a little much.
It's a scotch too much.
I like We Are Family much more by the Pointer Sisters.
Dom? Maximum Carnage.
Maximum Carnage, yes.
Steer this ship. Please.
Did you have the red cartridge from the Sega Genesis? Did you have that coveted red cartridge of Maximum Carnage?
I didn't have a Sega Genesis.
Oh.
I was a Nintendo kid. I tracked based on who had the best wrestling video game. So it was Nintendo, then it was Super Nintendo, then it was N64, eventually made the leap to the PlayStation 2 because of the SmackDown series.
Now, Royal Rumble on the Super Nintendo, they had different characters on that one. And then the Sega Genesis one had Hulk Hogan on the Royal Rumble 93 game.
It did. The Raw video game was a big deal because it had like the video game version of the Raw theme song.
Yes.
It was tremendous.
So the thing about a Sega Genesis, though, the music was much better on the Sega Genesis. It wasn't like the video game theme. It was more to the actual music. Which
Devin Dallin bringing up GameCube, Day of Reckoning. I actually did own a GameCube. It was terrible. I don't think I ever used. I'm not a huge video game guy. There are like 3 or 4 that I would play on my system religiously.
Yeah.
And the thing about video games with the economics of it is it sounds like it's an expensive purchase, but when you factor in the amount of hours and time that you spend playing it, it winds up being a more economical version of entertainment than, say, going to a movie. You go to a movie, you're there for 2.5 hours. It's like $20 for a ticket. You spend $50 on a video game, you may play it 20, 30, 40 hours. So your dollar per minute ratio winds up being better. There's a whole YouTube video I watched on this on economics.
Well, there's No Mercy. Is that the pinnacle, Robert? Or what?
There's nothing better than WWF No Mercy. That is the single greatest video game ever made in the history of time, space, and the universe. Nothing's topping it. I know AEW tried, and I do respect them for trying. I know that they were like, we're going to bring in all the people, we're going to try to make it all work. And that AEW Fight Forever video game was not very good.
I never
being
played
diplomatic. It was. I played it out of, again, the love of No Mercy, the fact that I'm like, well, this is one thing Kenny Omega should be able to do properly.
Now, Wrestling Horror
it's
the case for me here. The genesis of No Mercy was WCW NWO Revenge. 100%.
It was Christmas. It was the Japanese game, the Fire
the World
Pro.
Tour.
No, it was not WCW World Tour. There was a Fire Pro, whatever. There was an underlying wrestling engine game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Ultra Pro, not Ultra.
It was Fire Pro, whatever the hell it is. I also love, there was a great clip. Raven was on Chris Van Vliet's show, and they're like, why were you on the cover of that WCW video game? Like, it's Sting, it's Hulk Hogan, it's Goldberg, and it's Raven. He goes, the guys who made the game just happen to be big fans of mine.
See, I thought it was because of the factions. Because if you go through the categories, it's like everybody was in a faction in a group on that game on the select screen, and Raven's Flock was one of them. And I was like, well, that makes sense why Raven's on the cover.
They looked at the cover and they said, what about him? What about Raven?
What about him?
Fight Forever was. Ron Bree says right there, I played Fight Forever because I got it free. It was so bad.
Oh, no.
It was kind of like AEW in the sense of, there's what we want, and then there's everything else they're going to give you. We're going to give you 700 mini games. We're going to have a situation where someone's riding a horse. There's going to be all kinds of extras. Like, no, just give me a solid wrestling engine video game that I can, play and enjoy. That has repeatability.
A simple crate system was all I wanted. Like, that was it.
I don't think that matters as much anymore, because I'm pretty sure you can download. I don't go deep into the weeds on this.
It's nuts. It's nuts. I have not played.
Has anyone ever created you in one of the video games?
I created myself once on there.
It happened. Somebody for one of the WWE 2K games made me, Dan, Mike, and Scott.
How were they? Well, how was the?
I don't know. I didn't have that particular game, so I never played it. But here's hoping that doesn't happen. It's
make us on the game. Anybody that plays the 2K25 or whatever.
I did work on a couple of video games when I was at WWE, so that was pretty cool.
Did you write like some of the story based stuff?
No, help when they were producing some of the commentary stuff in the booth, and some of the sound effects, some of the Foley work.
Oh.
We're 8 minutes in. We got to talk about not how bad the AEW video game is, but how amazing AEW Maximum Carnage is going to be. Dom, hit me with it.
All right. So Cloak and Dagger, they'll be battling Carnage and Venom in a tag team match. Are you excited for that, Robert? Kenny Omega
I have spent the better part of the last hour before this watching a legal CLE professional responsibility video. More pleasant than talking to you.
You don't want to talk Carnage? Get Spider-Man. Kenny Omega makes his return tonight, Robert. What do you expect him to say? Is he gonna just confront MJF after MJF defeats?
How is it a return? Because he was on TV like 2 weeks ago with that creepy ass Kevin Spacey New Year's video.
That's right. He did do that, didn't he?
So he like vanishes, but you kind of forget that he's vanished. And the assumption is always that he's gone because, he can't make it up the stairs or something like that. I'm surprised they're announcing a Kenny Omega return simply because MJF has another story going on there with Bandito. So Kenny showing up, it kind of feels like after MJF retains that Kenny comes out like smoking a pipe, wearing a velvet robe or something like that, and he's like, "Why, hello, Mr. Jacob Friedman."
Is he like Christopher Walken as the Continental Champagne?
Less that and more when Bart dressed up like Hugh Hefner.
Oh yes,
the same level of authority. sure Kenny's a very nice guy, by the way. I just there's something about him that's such a degree of unserious but serious that doesn't align with me.
How would you have positioned Kenny Omega in his career, like in AEW specifically? What would you have done to kind of get him to the where he was supposed to be?
The challenge is because of his injuries.
Sure.
And also there was this insane selflessness that Kenny and Cody had when they started the company. This idea of we're not going to be the front and center. We're not going to be Hogan pulling creative control. They absolutely should have done that. They should have started off as your franchise players, as your top guys. This is a new company. This is a new world. We are the best in the world, and we're going to go out there and be the best in the world. That's how they should have positioned them. Travis Wadlow asked a good question. You can't ask, how can he return again when Roman Reigns is out there?
It's a fair point.
So the difference is Roman, we know the deal with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a part-timer at best. He is a dude who comes and goes as he pleases, and it stinks, and it's kind of just the way it is. Kenny vacillates between, is he a part-timer who's a special appearance guy? Is he a week in, week out guy? Is he a guy who's competing and then he gets hurt? Or is he not competing because he's off doing other things? There's too much of an inconsistency. There's never an inconsistency with Roman. Roman is always, yeah, I'm going to show up when I'm getting paid for something major, and then I'm going to, piece the hell out, Brock Lesnar style. Kenny is neither fish nor fowl when it comes to AEW. He's not a part-timer. He's not a special event guy, even though he should be. He is 1 week he's wrestling on a 6-man tag, and then he's wrestling on an 8-man tag, and then he's just gone for 3 weeks. And then he's going over to New Japan to go watch a match instead of being on television. Now he's coming back and saying, I want to go be AEW world champion. Okay. Got to pick a lane.
Right.
If he's going to be Roman, treat him like Roman. If he's going to be Cody, treat him like Cody.
I loved his heel run with, when he was like the manacle Harley Race mustache, like cocaine kind of implied taking Kenny Omega.
Yeah, implied. That version of Kenny, by the way, was fantastic.
Yes.
That was exactly how he should be positioned. If he's going to be slightly off-putting, because he's not a good promo. I don't think anybody's going to be up in arms about saying that. When Kenny talks, there's an earnestness to him, but it doesn't quite feel important.
There's personality to it, certainly, but it doesn't, I just convey
he's
that
quirky.
What you're getting. Yes. Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be a Vince McMahon old school main event talent in the way that he talks. He's better than like a Bret Hart or something like that, but there's a kookiness to him that it goes to what I was saying before, like to take him truly seriously.
Mm-hmm. And I would have been fine with what you kind of initially put out there when it was like the Cody Rhodes and Kenny were insanely like generous starting off. I would have been okay with that if there was the payoff for those other stars to kind of get there. But Tony Khan, AEW didn't do the due diligence of elevating those stars.
They also started with like, it's Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho is going to be your world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, but Kenny and Cody and the Bucks were definitely big enough stars.
Right.
That you could have, it's not like you were starting with over the hill guys or you were starting with really under the radar guys. It's not like PWG where they were going to be like, well, it's Super Dragon and Excalibur are going to go out there and wrestle. Like if you headline your first show with Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes, nobody's batting an eyelash at that. Everyone's going, those are two of the biggest names in wrestling. We got it. Instead, they wanted to try to pull everybody up and elevate everybody. And like you said, here we are 6 years later. Not a lot of those folks really got elevated the way they should have. And it's been a continual criticism of AEW that they've tried. We're seeing a little bit of it with Gunther and WWE right now, where they just think by having Gunther amass wins, even though they don't really matter, that he's going to suddenly seem like a 1A type of guy.
No, he's not.
In the, Darby beats whoever, like Chris Jericho, or he's hanging out with Sting, and it loses its efficacy.
Speaking of Darby, he'll be taking on Pac. Finally, Robert, the one guy in the Death Riders he's never faced. I know everybody's been waiting for this match, and we're getting it tonight on Maximum Carnage.
Look, we all remember when Ahmed Johnson went after the Nation of Domination, and the real main event was when he went after Kama Mustafa. And that's what we're getting here today. It's going to be a great match.
It will be.
But what the hell are the Death Riders?
That's the major question, I think, in all of this.
They're not a main event stable.
Mm-hmm.
They're like feuding with the conglomeration in some regard. Pac is over the feud with Darby Allin. He's like, nah, I've moved on. John Moxley is a top babyface. It's very, very hard to care about the underlying story. The match will wind up being absolutely incredible, but Pac's another dude, kind of like Kenny Omega. He's there, and then he's gone for an extended period of time.
And the Death Riders themselves are kind of a showcase of what we were just talking about with AEW. You have these people in a faction. They're supposed to mean something. What's their purpose? You're going to build them up, and there has not been a payoff or an understanding of where they're going. It's a loose faction that has really no direction or no purpose, it feels like. Hey, something that might have a purpose is Chris Statlander and the Babes of Wrath. That's Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. They're your AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. They're going up against the Triangle of Madness. That's Thekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. Triangle Madness, better known as Tom. Robert, what do you think of this match?
Their name is the Triangle of Madness?
That's their name.
Why
Tom.
did I think they were called the Sisters of Sin?
Is that just Julia and Sky Blue? That might be.
They have two names?
Probably.
Look, they're my favorite tag team in all of professional wrestling.
Yes.
Just promo machines not seen since Kenny Omega. This will be fine. I guess this is to solidify that Willow and Chris Statlander are besties now and everybody gets along. And the best way to showcase your tag titles is to put them in a 6-woman tag, I guess.
Did you notice that? I didn't notice this, that they were in Powerpuff Girls uniforms, I guess, the week before or something.
Which ones?
The Babes of Wrath and Chris Statlander. They all wore Powerpuff Girl.
I can confidently say I didn't notice that.
I didn't either, but pretty neat.
Would have been nice for them to print that out because Powerpuff Girls was on Cartoon Network, which is under the Warner Discovery banner. Synergy, my man. Synergy.
That's how you do it. You got to make it happen. What else is going to happen is the AEW Tag Team Championship, number one contenders match. This is not an eliminators match. This is a number one contenders match. Let's be clear on that. So it's the Young Bucks.
Hey, Dom, who are the AEW Tag Team Champions?
Because
it just took me a minute.
Is it FTR?
It's FTR.
Okay.
I genuinely had to pause and figure out who the hell the AEW Tag Champs were.
Well, they could go up against the Young Bucks. That's Matt and Nick Jackson. They're brothers, if you didn't know. The Gates of Agony, Jet Speed, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and the Don Callis family. Which of the Don Callis family? It's Jake Doyle. It's Mark Davis. Are you
Doyle
ready?
and Davis, attorneys at law. We're the accident attorneys, and that we're gonna cause an accident for you. Which now makes it sound like you peed yourself. I was going down a different path, and
We're gonna make you cause an accident.
Yeah. Anyway, knowing that it's FTR, I guess the thought process here is heel FTR versus babyface Young Bucks.
You go into that quick again? You think?
What else is it? You're not going to do FTR versus the Gates of Agony. You're not going to do FTR versus the Don Callis family. Them versus Jet Speed.
Didn't that happen already?
I feel like I've seen it a lot. And also, Jet Speed doesn't exactly have a ton of momentum right now. The Bucks are back as we wear tassels and we're all baby faces again. It's like they're now trying to get all the elite guys over as super baby faces again. Jack Perry is smiling Jungle Jack Perry. Forget about Scapegoat. Forget about the guy who was off making like knives in the woods or is the reason CM Punk isn't there. He's a good dude. We all love him. The Young Bucks, forget the 2 years of storyline we've had. They wear tassels now. And Kenny Omega's back to be the world champion.
Yeah, a little peculiar. It's like they're they're about what 5 years too late on this. It feels like with a lot of these stories. Um, Said while we get the Bucks versus FTR before Cope and Christian, what if Cope and Christian return and make a three-way tag?
Who the hell are Cope and Christian?
Did they do like a 10-second pose? Is it?
You know what's kind of wild? I was thinking about this because we brought this up, the Finn Balor situation.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like what I laid out is where this is ultimately going to go, because I can see a situation where Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez win the women's tag titles, and Raquel Rodriguez wins the women's title, and Dom has the Intercontinental title, and then Finn's kind of the odd man out, and they push him out. What's even wilder is to think that Judgment Day is still going, and it was started by Cope.
Who?
Edge. And who's going to have the edge in the main event?
That's MJF. That's Bandito. This should be a really fun match, Robert. And for the short time frame that they've done it, I do like some of the aspects that they have to building this, but I think this should be a match on a pay-per-view, to be honest. Oh, what do you think?
When is their next pay-per-view? It used to be easier when they had like 4 shows a year. Now they have like 8 or 9, and there's a lot going on. I'm fine with this being a TV match because Bandito clearly is someone that they earmark as he's going to be special for a long, long time. MJF likes to go all out on television.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to want it.
Pun intended.
No, that was not no pun was intended there. He's going to absolutely crush it when he's out there. And then you're going to have Kenny walking out, eyeing the title. The 3 guys whose names we did not say because they're not on the preview are Swerve, Hangman, and Joe, who are all going after the world title. So the idea that there's a lot of people who want to bring down Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman should make a compelling story. And MJF getting a heel win over Bandito, if I had to pick the spot, by the way, he goes to steal Bandito's Dynamite Diamond Ring. Bandito kicks it out of his hand, so Max reaches in and pulls out his own Dynamite Diamond Ring that he has, and that's what he hits him with, and then gets the pin. But who the hell knows? There's other companies I worry about booking for, not All Elite Wrestling.
That's right.
Primarily my friends over at Boca Raton Championship Wrestling for our big show coming up March 1st, which will feature Lloyd Anoa'i, who somehow wound up on the run sheet today because he called during our show yesterday.
I think this is what you guys were talking about, actually, is The Rock. He was asked on PW Mania about The Rock potentially making a return to WWE at some point. He says, and going up against his other cousin, Roman Reigns. He said, I'd love to see it. That match would be a record breaker. WWE teased it before and pivoted, which I thought was smart, but I don't think it's off the table. Even if The Rock isn't wrestling full-time, he'll be back in some capacity. The storylines in WWE always leave room for surprises. So, was that what your phone call was about, Robert? Yesterday?
No.
Oh.
No, it was about our big show in March. And one that's in April. Yes, The Rock is always on the table for a match. Him and Roman, I don't see it happening in April simply because The Rock lost all that weight for this most recent movie role that he had. I don't know that he's going to have enough time to pack it back in. And the fact that Rock and Roman are not week in, week out competitors, and that's going to headline that would be I don't know how great a match that would ultimately wind up being. I think it would be a lot of gaga, be a lot of smoke and mirrors. It would also potentially explain why Drew is world champion right now. That you could do a Drew match, with a Drew, Cody, Jacob Fatu triple threat, and that not main event a night of WrestleMania if you're main eventing with The Rock versus Roman Reigns. But boy, if I knew I was going to have that match, I'd be advertising the hell out of it long in advance and sell a lot of tickets.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely want to make that happen. But, I mean, what are the odds? Like Wrestling World says, final boss in Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Is that gonna happen?
Well, he does have a place in Davie. He ain't that far away. And Ava's Ava and I go way back, so maybe we try to make this happen, Dom.
How would you book The Rock in Boca Raton Championship Wrestling round?
Kid's never worked there before. He's got to earn his stripes.
Well, is that why you bottom of the card?
You gotta start off with
Cavana back makes his return.
Exactly. We can do Flex back in the Florida Indies scene and have him take on Cha Cha Charlie to be a hell of a match. What was a hell of a match was John Cena's final match, and John had a little bit more to say about that. Dom?
Yes, he was at the Fan Expo in New Orleans and was asked about tapping out. John thought his ending was perfect, and this is what he had to say. I guess it kind of parallels my career. I think it was a perfect end because a whole lot of people thought it sucked, and a whole lot of people thought it was special. And that's kind of been my story for 23 years. So I thought it was perfect. What a John Cena answer that is, right?
That is a very John Cena diplomatic answer. And yes, some people definitely thought it sucked. Some people thought it was great. I've seen some follow-up stuff that makes it harder for me to really be on board with the decision that he made. I talked about this, I think, on Working Stiff. An acquaintance of mine, his son was part of the Make-A-Wish group that was there that night.
Yeah.
And his son is of a young enough age where kayfabe is alive and well. When John Cena is telling this kid who's in a fight for his life, like, never give up, and then he sees John Cena give up, it was a tough pill for them to swallow. And I kind of feel like if that was the booking they were doing, maybe that's not the night you do a Make-A-Wish. Like, I get both sides of it. I just think in that one particular instance, given the severity with which that finish was going to take place, probably would have bypassed it. That's just me. I also don't love how the Gunther falling action has occurred since then. It doesn't feel like making John Cena tap out has transcended and made Gunther the biggest single star in all of wrestling and all of entertainment. But speaking of folks who are massive in entertainment, want to wish a very happy birthday to Mr. Mike Lawrence.
Oh,
who was part of the writing staff that did a stellar job on the Golden Globes on Sunday night. A couple of his jokes made it on there, and they were tremendous. But big shout out to fellow Working Stiff co-host Mike Lawrence, and go wish him a happy birthday on the, I don't know what social he even uses anymore. Maybe Instagram.
Facebook.
I don't know if his Facebook is a public Facebook. It might just be like, I've made that mistake with other folks before where I'm like, oh, you can just send them on Facebook. And I'm like, I didn't know they had Facebook. And I was like, oh, they don't.
Him a picture of Earthquake. He likes Earthquake.
He would love that. Yes, he is a big John Tenta guy. He got to help work on the Dark Side.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, that was very special to him. He's a big Tenta guy.
I didn't. Tenta's story is not really Dark Side. He passed away tragically. That's the dark part of it. But like, ultimately, he was like a bright side of the ring, if you think about it.
I think the problem with Dark Side of the Ring was, the success of the show at first was here are all the lewd and lascivious stories that we can tell about wrestling. And then over time, it just became, these are biographies of wrestlers and stories you wouldn't necessarily hear elsewhere. And they try to make it a dark side, namely, and, Tenta obviously passing away at a young age and spending a couple of years later in his life. I believe he was working as a truck driver.
Oh,
but that's not a dark side. That's a man was earning a good living to provide for his family.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a little, I don't know. We're not going to solve all the world's problems. I can message Evan and ask him, like, dude, what are you doing there? But we will be back tomorrow, as we are every Monday through Friday. We're going to talk Maximum Carnage, and believe it or not, we're going to preview TNA Impact.
Yes. Excited. I'm intrigued, Robert. I am intrigued by this.
Look, I'm very excited for the Impact debut. I know you did a special interview building up to this. Is that available yet, or is
that's available? That's up. Studio1sports.com. Go to it now. Tom Hannafin I speak with. Robert gave me some good questions to ask, and so you'll get to check some of those out. And we talk a little bit of Penn State. We talk a little bit of Big Bill Collier, who's known as Agent Zero. He's in the promotion that I work for too, IWC. So talk about him a little bit too. So check it out. It's a really good interview and a little teaser for January 15th tomorrow for AMC. So there you go.
Excited for that. So on behalf of
what do you want to call me?
I was going to say something, and then I literally got distracted by your sweater, and then I was going to call it a Cosby sweater, and then I realized in 2026 you can't say that. So on behalf of the man who's trying very hard to get me canceled, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
You know, kids say the darndest things.
Shh.